Good evening. Welcome to Three Beards and a Boss. What's going
Hello.
on, Bobby? What's up, Becky?
Yo, yo.
So
What's
tonight
happening?
we've decided that we're going to pick on Bobby and see what
Yeah.
makes him tick. And talking to him last week about this, and he kind of chuckled. He's like, "Well, it's going to be a very short show," and we did agree that we do a show for about 30 minutes. Um, but I think he's a very interesting guy. He might not think so, but I think he's a very interesting dude. He is the baby of the family, and
Facts.
Yeah.
he's probably the most interesting one of the group. So
Really? All right.
yeah,
I like that.
all right.
Does that mean I'm
So
the black
let's do
sheep?
some. Yeah, let's do. Let's see. Let's start out with this. Bobby is. We're not going to say exactly how old he is, but he's in his 40s, father of three.
Yeah.
He's been
He's
married for.
44. Just say it. I had to say
All right,
how old I was.
44.
Well, if I give up his age, I just gave you up yours, twin.
I already said it. So now we're 44.
44 years old. So,
Yeah.
Bobby, you started. Let me see if I remember. When you were about 18, you got the job in sales, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so
No.
yeah, it wasn't that. My mom's husband at the time worked for a place and he got me working there with him. And that's what kind of started that uh, kind of love for mechanical engineering and things like that. Um, so I did that before I actually went into the sales side. But yeah. So that was 18 years old, long time ago, man.
So, when you say mechanical engineering, what
Yeah,
exactly did you do, or can you tell us?
yeah. No, I can tell you. Yeah, I ran machines. I basically built cutting tools for the automotive and aerospace industry, and still do it to this day. I don't manufacture anymore, but that's what I started out doing. So basically, any car that's on the road, I've probably had a part in it. Some defense contract stuff, aerospace stuff. I've all had a part in it. Um, but it wasn't. I think I worked there for probably 8 years before I moved on and started kind of what I do now, which is more of I'm in the engineering part, so I'm designing, and then I'm also selling, which is what I prefer to do because I not only design the product that I'm selling and I know everything about it, or I should. Um, I also get to push the product onto a customer and kind of explain to them how it works and help them out. So you start off in the design process, you sell it to the customer, and then I'm in there testing, and so from basically the design to the end result until that thing's kicked out of a machine because maybe a new engine block's coming down the pike or something else is going on. But um, I'm in it from start to finish,
That's
which is
exciting.
what I like.
It shows your customers your integrity. And it shows
Right.
them that
Yeah. I mean,
you believe in what you are making and producing and engineering and doing all that. So I think that's really cool that you take it from 0 to 100
yeah.
and people are excited to obtain it.
Yeah. And it's nice because you're very intimate with the projects, because of that from start to finish. And, it's not always like the start. Like right now, the big push in the automotive world is EV stuff, electronic vehicles. So I get to see all these things that are being, coming out. And I usually not allowed to talk about what
Right.
exactly I'm doing, but it's all going electronic, and that's exciting to see. And then in the aerospace world, it's the same thing. Commercial aerospace is booming right now, and it's an exciting world to be a part of. So yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. You know, I saw when I saw the title of the show, I had to think about it. What makes me tick? It's definitely not work, though. I will
No,
say that.
no.
Um, Although I do really enjoy what I do, I get a lot of like every day is exciting to me. I mean, well, I'll take a step back. Not every day. Some days suck. But for the most part, I enjoy what I do every single day. I enjoy waking up and going to sites and working with clients and things like that. But it is certainly not what makes me tick. It's, I think that's multifold, that question. Is that Dakota?
She was talking, sorry.
Yeah, I hear that.
We all know, if you're watching the show, we are filming this from our homes. And right before the show started, my dog was talking to Becky's dog. And
she's still trying to talk. Sorry.
Cousins are talking, which is kind of funny. So we won't apologize for that. This is normal life from our homes.
Every day, baby.
Now, Bobby, I do have. So when you first started out, what was like? Was it minimum wage when you started out, or was you like 18 years old and you were making better money than normal?
No, I think when I started, it probably wasn't much better than minimum wage, I would guess. I don't remember. And it also depended on your skill set, So if you were really good at what you did, you made really good money.
Okay.
If you weren't good and you were kind of, apprentice or co-op type status, I don't remember exactly. I probably made more than minimum wage, but probably not much more than minimum wage. Yeah, it was pretty, but I had nothing, I didn't have anything to worry about. You know what I mean?
Paying for mortgage. Right.
No, I had an apartment. I was paying for school, but aside from that, man, I didn't care. I generally then enjoyed what I do, what I was doing too. And I was learning something that interested me.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it takes a lot to interest me. Like I don't know if I have like ADD or something, but I go from one thing to, like, my hobbies are so vast and spread out. It's clear to me that I can't focus on one thing for too long, for like a long period of time. I got to take little 6 month, like, all right, I'm gonna figure out how to do this and do it, in 6 months, and I'm done. I like throw everything away and I'm done.
Right.
Fun fact: Bobby and I had an apartment together when we were like early 20s.
Yeah.
And we would. Remember, we used to like play Jeopardy at night, and whoever won or whoever lost had to do the dishes.
Yeah. Yeah. It was important. It was important to know your shit, because I did not want to do dishes. I think we had a dishwasher though, didn't we?
We did, but it didn't.
Did it work? Oh, okay. All right.
So it wasn't great. So we had to.
It's expensive.
But
yeah.
That was fun times.
Those were the good old days. Yeah, that was like, early 20s.
Yeah, maybe I remember our 21st birthday in that apartment though.
Oh, really? What did we do?
Anything fun? Had everybody come up and it snowed and we were excited. We could go to Kroger and buy alcohol.
Oh, God,
we watched
no, I don't
movies because we were kind of snowed in. Remember the West Virginia girls came up?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
We watched American Pie and The Exorcist.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you do on your 21st birthday?
Yeah, that's
probably
that's pretty pathetic.
Like super snowy.
I'm proud. Well, it was snowing where I was at because I turned 21 in Adak, Alaska.
Oh yeah.
So,
snows all the time there.
Yeah, we weren't doing that good.
Before we get into family, because that's like the most important thing to you, I know that.
Yeah.
You are a man of many interests, like you said.
Oh yeah.
So gaming and sports.
Yeah.
I mean, you and Brian are like an encyclopedia when it comes to sports to me.
Well,
but
Brian's
you really like gaming, and that's something I've not. I mean, I can get on the Xbox and lose really quick.
But
so
do I.
Got a knack for it.
Yeah, that's something. But I've done that since I was a little kid. I still remember playing at video games on like a black and white television,
right?
A little Nintendo. So it's always something. But I really love to read. I really love movies. And honestly, video games are kind of both worlds. Like especially movies anymore. Playing a video game is like watching a movie and being being the main
Right.
character in this
Yeah.
movie. So yeah, that's something that's kind of been an interest for a long time. I enjoy, had my own video game store for a while. So did that, and I've actually been trying to build an app, not a game app, but an app for a long time. I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. So it's like errors constantly. But yeah,
You
I
built
mean,
an arcade game.
yeah, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Like with hobbies, I enjoy working with my hands. So my hobbies are like building. So I wanted to build an arcade, and it was right when COVID hit, and I was like, well, shit, what am I going to do with my time? I was working 2 days a week, and really, we were in meetings for those 2 days a week, but that was it, and the rest of that time for like almost 6 months, I did nothing. So I was trying to quit smoking at the time. So I picked up guitar and I just started teaching myself guitar until I could pluck some songs. And now I could play hundreds of songs. And at that same time, I was like, why not build arcade systems? So I got a couple, pieces of wood and built a pretty cool arcade system. I don't know if I have like pictures of it that I could share, but yeah, we play that all the time. I mean, that's another hobby, and like art, painting. I got into painting, and I think Brian might be the only one that owns one of my paintings.
You were
Really?
Out of
supposed
the
to. You
family.
were supposed to paint us Stonehenge.
Yeah,
Remember?
I could never like get
Water won't
inspiration from that. Um, but
So
yeah,
you
well,
back to this painting thing because it's very interesting to me.
yeah.
Do you like painting abstract, or do you like to paint buildings and a theme?
It was always kind of landscape.
Okay.
Man, I wish I had. I know I have pictures, but
Now
I'll
I
have to
need
find
something
them.
for my office.
Yeah, I really enjoy it, and I did one for Brian.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking to me about something. I don't remember. I think it was he had just gotten back from a camping trip or something, and I was like, "Oh, that would be really cool to do." And so I did it, and I wish I could find it. Yeah, so I did find it, but I want to try to send it to
Okay.
myself.
There you go.
So yeah, I enjoy painting right now, and actually, I've been talking to Brian about it. I gave myself 6 months. I'm writing a book too,
Jeez.
so that'll be fun. I've got it all. The prologue is almost done, and I've got all the story done, and now I just have to put it to paper, and that's been super fun.
Now, have you
What
been
kind of
exchanging? Oh, go ahead, Becky. I'm sorry.
Sorry. What kind of book?
It's a sci-fi actually, and the premise is sometime in the future where time travel is discovered, or we finally figure out how to time travel, and we're a society of like more or less we need entertainment, constant entertainment. So we go in. We have the biggest show on television is a game show that takes people back in time to try to change history.
Oh,
So
Oh.
yeah, it's so far, it's got me kind of stumped on a couple things just because science isn't. I mean, I love science, but like you want it to be, you want it to be, accurate, but
right.
it's not it's not like we'll probably never figure out time
It's
travel
fantasy. Yeah. I mean, it's
how
fantasy. You can
but
make it up.
in this time period, time is irrelevant. Time doesn't matter anymore. They don't even know the day. They don't know the date because at this point in time, time doesn't matter because now we can move throughout time wherever we want. But again, the premise is this game show where it takes people back in time and you try to change history. And no one's ever won it except this particular time where someone does win it, and how that affects the future butterfly effect stuff. So
Cool.
working on that, and it's been fun, very creative. Like it taps into a very creative part of my mind, and I enjoy that.
Yeah. Have you been exchanging pointers with David, your brother-in-law?
Yeah, I actually call on him all the time because I'm also working on a comic book that
Great
I
day.
want him to illustrate. So the comic book premise is a young man who uses his mind as a um, as his superpower. It's like basically his imagination. Anything he comes up with, he can kind of create. And as it turns out, the boy is or the man is quadriplegic. So he has honed his mind because he can't really do a whole lot else. So that's been exciting too. But it's totally different genres, totally different writing styles. In comics, you got to kind of tell stories
Right.
very quickly in small panels,
Mhm.
and the story has to be very concise and it's very few words, but it's in picture. So that's kind of the tough thing about that. But I've had several ideas of comic books with David, and he's always a good sport about it because he always wants to illustrate. So
Right.
it's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good writer and
Yeah.
excellent artist, and of course he's got his own. We've interviewed him. He's got his own comic
Right.
series, and it's awesome. So yeah, he's huge inspiration. Actually, anybody that writes, I'm interested in the process. So yeah.
Look,
So that's
you were telling me earlier, like, man, I don't have anything to offer. This is going to.
I know, right?
I'm
What?
like
well,
being
but
blown away.
but I mean, I don't think it's really that exciting for, I don't know. Some people are like, "Oh, dude, that's cool." But
Yeah.
to me, it's just like something I do to not be bored out of my mind. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. It's just something I enjoy doing. Here's the picture because I can't send it. Let's see if I
Okay.
can get that. So it's hard to see, and Brian has the actual picture, but
Okay.
that
I
is
like it.
a campsite at night. I don't know if you can.
Yeah. And
So
Yep.
there's some like a lake that he's sitting on, a
Yeah.
campfire going, some trees in the background, and
I
that
like
was the
it.
one. That was the
Yeah.
one I did for him. And I've done others, but I threw them away. I don't know. I didn't want
Bobby's
to keep
always
them
been a
around.
good drawer.
Yeah,
You've
I've
always
always
been good.
drawn.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed working with that kind of like that part of my brain. That's actually, when I thought about what makes Bobby tick, I thought what motivates me is family for sure,
Right.
but what like feeds my soul, what that part of me, that tick, or like what makes me tick, is probably the hobbies and like what I do, like the video games, the writing, the playing guitar, the singing, the um I don't know, working with my hands, building shit, it's just stuff I like to do. Yeah.
You
And
got that creative brain.
read's a huge thing for me. I love to read, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to write a book. And I thought, I feel like I can write like this. So I'd give it a shot, and I gave myself 6 months to EPUB, and I think I probably do it quicker than that. So I'm excited about that. It'll
So,
suck. It'll
yeah.
suck. It'll be,
It will
but
not.
It's
You
not.
no,
suck.
we'll see.
So
But
here's my next
I got to
question.
get it off my plate. It's just like, all right, I wrote a book. Now I can move on and do something else. You know
So
what I mean?
I'm gonna ask this question that's going to transition us into your family life. So
Mhm.
with you writing the book and writing
Yeah.
a comic and doing illustration for that, do you get your sons involved in that process?
No, they're not interested in any of those things. Man.
No?
They don't read. No, not at all. No. And actually these are like hobbies that um I don't know. I like it's what I do to unwind and like get
Right.
away from you know what I mean? Like
Right.
not get away from family, but
But have
you got to
rest.
have your hobbies. You got to have your things. You got to have your like respite, and
Yeah.
that's for me, that's it. So, no, they don't get involved. They don't care for stuff like that. This show, they think I'm a nerd. Um, writing a book, they're like, whatever. In fact, I've talked to them at the dinner table. That's one thing that's very important to me is that we always sit together and eat every night
Right.
at the dinner table. And we talk about these kind of things. I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about this book? And they're like, dude, come on, you're an idiot. Like this isn't going to be good. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see. I'll have them read it. And the comic, same thing. I mean, I told them about the comic. They're like, yep, that's stupid.
But as dads, it's hard for us because there's so many things that I do that I think that, oh, my son's going to think this is badass. I get guns and go overseas and do all kinds of fun stuff in my life, and the boy don't care.
Yeah.
We do. I do make sure I find things to connect. It's always very important to me to connect to my kids in one way or another. And with the boys, it's gaming and sports. Okay. So Brody is like an encyclopedia when it comes to sports. We were talking about it earlier. You think Brian and I know sports? This kid knows sports. Like if I were to bring him in here right now and say, who played on the 74 Celtics, he would give me the starting lineup. He'd give me the stats. He just knows sports.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's what he wants to do for a living is, stats and write, which I think could end up going into like some kind of recruiting role for colleges or something like that. But that's what he wants to do. And we've got him hooked up with a writer now that does like sports writing. So I think that's what he wants to do. But that's how we connect: video games and sports. And I've in one way or another coached their sports ever since they were little kids. Since they were 3 or 4 when they started basketball and soccer and baseball, and I've coached them ever since. In fact, last night was our last game for Cohen, my middle kid, in basketball that I assisted, coached. So enjoy that. We really love that. Coaching your child is hard, but we bond because of it. I don't try not to give them too hard of a time. But that in games, I know games and he knows games, and they know games, and we do that. And with Aria, it's acting. She's like really theatrical, and and sings. So when I'm playing the guitar, she's next to me singing. That's another way we connect, So that's extremely important to me. Those are the 2 things that I, make sure we connect, the kids and I. And it's important. I think those are important, that you got to be able to connect. And even with my daughter, who's 8, I'm a grown man, and it's hard to connect with an 8-year-old girl, but that's something we can connect, with, because that's what I always want to do as a kid. And growing up, I wanted to be an actor. So
girls are, they can be hard to connect with, but as a dad with your daughter, all you have to do is be present with them, and they're going to love you no mater what.
Yeah.
Me and Navi have some very cool connections. The kind of the craziest ones of liking certain little TV shows and musicals and all that kind of stuff. And I know we used to love to sing the Journeys. There's a Journey song that we used to love singing together. So, with the girls, it's, they're going to love you no matter what. You're
agreed.
The whole daddy's little girl thing. So
as long as you give them attention, they're happy. Tell them they're pretty. Give them a cupcake.
She gets a lot of attention. She is the queen, basically, of this house. Not princess. She's the queen.
Oh boy.
She'll always be my princess.
Yep. Same. Yeah. So that's, again, as far as what makes me tick, that's what motivates me to do what I do, is family. And, that's, not the exact reason, but that's one of the reasons I have so many hobbies too, because of those connections, playing the guitar with my daughter. I got to learn how to play guitar. So I taught myself how to play the guitar, not great, but I could strum some songs and we could sing together, you know? So
now, I know you love taking vacations. I know you spent a lot of time in Nags Head and places like
Outer
that.
Banks. Yeah.
What has been your greatest vacation with your kids and your wife?
Oh, geez, man. Greatest vacation. That's a tough one, man. You know what I always really, and this is probably more nostalgic, is Gatlinburg. It's probably one of my favorite places to go with the kids, especially when they were little, because there were so many things to do. You know, if you want to go hiking, you go hiking. If you want to go to the museums or just do some window shopping or hit some candy stores or go-kart racing or watch the shows or Dollywood and all I mean, there's so much to do there.
Yeah.
And it's very kid friendly. So, you know, you can enjoy it with kids. You know, I'd love to say Vegas, but that's not a good family trip.
No. As a matter of fact, I'm going to Tennessee in like 3 weeks. I think about 3 weeks. So we're going to Dolly World. That's where I'm in my future job is Dolly's bodyguard. She just doesn't know it.
There you go. There you go. Dolly, man. Who doesn't love Dolly?
It's so everybody who goes anymore, because I would love to go back, but everybody that goes just says it's ridiculously overcrowded.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been that way. Yeah.
From here to there, but it's gotten worse. Like
you got to walk. You got to walk. Yeah. If you're in Gatlinburg, it's not bad because you're walking most of the time. You know, if you're in a cabin up in the mountains, it's a pain.
Right. But
there's several hotels
in the cabin,
I mean,
in the woods that are beautiful. And
I've only been, so Shannon's brother owned a cabin in Gatlinburg, and we stayed in it a couple times, but I always enjoyed being on the strip,
right?
Yeah.
You know, because then that eliminates the need to drive, which is, if you're coming into Gatlinburg from the Pigeon Forge area, it's a nightmare getting in. Like you said, it's hours. But if you're literally on the strip and you spend most of your time in Gatlinburg, you're fine. But, you know, the shows in Pigeon Forge, if you go to a night show, you can come back and it's not too crowded, you know, getting back. Now, lots of people crossing the street, but aside from that, like my favorite vacation with just Shannon and I is Nashville, though. And I'm not like a beachy guy. I mean, we do enjoy our family trips to, you know, Outer Banks, but I don't like the beach. I'm terrified of the water with the kids. I don't know what the hell's lurking under there. Jaws could be like a foot from the shore. Yeah. And I just don't like it. And I got taken, you know, on a trip with some friends of ours, Shannon and myself and a couple friends. We were hit in a riptide, and that shit was terrifying.
Oh yeah.
So I just don't like the ocean, the sand getting in your butt crack. You know, who wants that? But then the fact that I can't be lazy on the beach all day. Like some people will go and spend like 8 hours on the beach, and that's just not me. Can't do it. So hard.
Yeah.
I like to get out and move around and walk around and see things. And Outer Banks is good for that if you travel down the coast,
right,
and kind of check out some of the cool things there, like Blackbeard and all. When the kids were young, we would do that. But yeah, I'm not a beach guy. I'd prefer not to be on the sand. And you know, I'll do it for photo ops, I guess. But outside that, I just don't enjoy it.
So your photo ops is like, all right, let me get all happy and smiling. But before that, you're probably under like this big tarp, and you're like, I'm not moving from this tarp the whole day. And you got like the white stuff.
We don't do it
in your nose.
Nope, we don't even do that, man. I don't sit at the beach. Nope, we don't sit at the beach. You know, I would much rather be at the house's pool.
Right.
You know. Than swimming in the ocean. I'm just.
Oh yeah, I love the pool. I'll go to the pool on the beach.
Yeah.
Just not a beach guy, man. I wish I were. I mean, it'd be nice if it were just Shannon and I, and we were doing like Jamaica or something.
Right.
You know, where I could have a pina colada and like just lay around doing nothing. But when you have kids, man, you don't have time to like get drunk at the beach. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, at least me, I'm so worried about my kids getting taken away,
right?
You know, in a riptide or something that I can't concentrate. You know, I can't enjoy.
Relax.
Yeah.
You need to go to like Bora Bora and have one of those little huts in the water where all you see is everything.
Oh yeah,
like,
that'd be fun.
Oh, that's my dream vacation.
All right, so I have one more question for you.
Yes, sir.
And this one's kind of going to put you on the spot, but I'm going to do this because one, I admire you and Shannon's marriage and relationship. What's the secret to a good marriage?
Man, Shannon and I laugh all freaking day long. I mean,
They're
that's,
hysterical. They're hysterical.
I think that's the key is like, we don't take, well, for one, when we signed up for this, it was like till death do us part was kind of like we were like, this is what we're going to do. So
Right.
let's figure this shit out. And we have problems, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. We don't take our marriage too, sometimes it's funny jokes, and I think it's laughing, man. Loving, of course,
Right.
being faithful, being honest,
Right.
but it's also just laughing a lot, and we do it all freaking day long. So I think that's it's if that's the secret. I don't, maybe it's not the secret, but it's certainly what we do.
It's
And
a
it
good
helps.
start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've always been that way. I mean, Shana
Yeah.
makes me laugh a lot. I try to make her laugh a lot. And that's kind of the key. And just, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're in it. I don't know. I always think about it like we're just, we're all here on this planet just trying to survive and just trying to like get along. And some of us might make it to the pearly gates, some of us might not, but
Right.
we're just trying to get along in this earth, and I'd like to make it as peaceful as possible, just in case this is it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of it. We laugh a lot, man. We laugh a lot. We're serious at times, but like Becky, she's around a lot,
Right.
Oh my God.
and
I've said
we
it-
just try to laugh all the time.
Yeah, I've said it once and I'll say it 20 million times. They are two of my favorite people in the whole wide world to be around because
Appreciate
it's
it, Beck.
nonstop laughs. I mean,
Yeah.
it's entertaining. They love their kids. They're great with their kids. Their kids are amazing. They're super funny together. They're super funny apart. Like, they're literally two of my favorite people in this whole wide world.
Well, thanks.
I
Beck.
like it. See,
Yeah.
Bobby,
That's my secret.
Yeah, look, you thought that you were gonna bomb the show, but you did an amazing job, and I appreciate you letting your guard down and
Yeah.
answering questions, because I know that's a big
Yeah.
deal. So
Yeah, no,
Thank
I
you.
didn't. I just kind of, I don't know. I feel like I'm boring. So
You're
I
not
don't know.
boring, Bobo.
yeah. All right.
So-
Fair enough.
thank you very much. Now, so
Yeah.
next week we're going to discuss one good thing or one thing that Becky loved to talk about, and then one
Mhm.
thing that I'm a little worried about. One is the murder trial that just got over, and they're trying to take away my TikTok. So we're going to talk about that
no.
next week.
Oh,
So
be rough.
thank you all for watching us. And, we say this all the time, but we love doing this because we're family, and this is our way of going in each other's living rooms and getting to hang out. And we get to share with all of you. So thank you so much
Yeah.
for
Appreciate
watching.
it, guys.
And after this is done, leave a comment, like all that good stuff. And we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.
See
Bye,
you
guys.
guys.